there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them. They need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. We are live for the second time today. What a day. What a show. So glad to be with you guys. We're going to have some more to report on regarding Diddygate. It's back on. We got some updates. We're going to give you some updates. Also, I want to talk about, I'm still thinking about it. I thought about it more and really how crazy it is that O.J. Simpson really did change my life. He really did. And in going back and remembering things and where I started, I wanted to talk about that today with you guys live, revisit it, feeling nostalgic. Maybe I'll get some more videos to share. Also, have Raees joining us, Beard Lawyer's coming back to give us his thoughts as we just hang. Honestly, I wasn't even going to do another live, but I wanted to. Typically, we do these later, and I thought this Bieber story, as well as this going back to these documents with Raees, would be a worthy thing to do with you guys. And I wanted to talk about this video of mine. I wanted to hang out with you. So everybody, thanks for waiting. Thank you for being here. The storm seems to have subsided here, so we're live again. If you missed this morning's live, it was a doozy. We talked about the loss of O.J. Simpson, and man, it was divisive, fairly so. A lot of people still not okay with the man, and I can't say I blame them. I can't. We talked a lot about it in depth. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but we also have some Diddy updates. And I appreciate you guys all being here. All right, just making sure everyone's joined the building as we get started. I guess I'll start here as we get going. We're going to get to the Diddygate coverage. I want to get Raees here to talk with us, and I want to do that, but he needed a few minutes, so I want him to take his time. Why is that still there? Okay, that's not supposed to make that noise. Come on, OBS. Don't be a pain in the butt. Okay, there we go. Okay, hopefully that's not going to screw me up. I think I'm good. Everyone can see me? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. All right. I wanted to talk about first, before we get to our Diddygate updates, a Beard Lawyer is going to join us. I wanted to reiterate again how weird it is that O.J. Simpson really did change my life. Like, the more I think about it, the weirder it is for me. When I was in high school, actually middle school, I've told this story before, but not recently at all, years ago. When I was growing up, I got to join a video camp. I was a super big nerd, AV camp it was called. And in middle school, I was doing this camp where I was learning how to use video. And this was in the early 90s. We're talking, 93, 94, probably when this happened. So I was about 13. You know, video cameras, videotapes, no YouTube, no internet, no phones. You didn't have any of this crap. You had to do it the OG way. And it was originally like tape to tape. You had to cue it all. And then eventually digital editing started to come in. You could upload the footage to it to tape, and then it got easier. But this was early days of digital video. Anyway, I was in it pretty early in the 90s, and I started loving making little short content. TikTok-y, YouTube-y, all types of videos. And I was really grateful for that lesson. And I made a lot of silly, bad videos that I wouldn't want to show you. Some of them are still fun. You'd be surprised. But every year at this class, we had this video assembly. At the end of the year, all the best of the video work would be shown to the whole school. I went to a school called Germantown Academy, and we had a nice assembly theater. And it was the thing I look forward to most, where it's like, let's showcase the best of the students' videos. And that became like my thing. I was like, oh, I want to make videos that would work for that. And so this video, this OJ video, was the first. I had a couple actually at the time, but the OJ one I always remember was what everybody always stuck to. I made this OJ video with some of my friends, and the reactions to it were so strong from not just my family and friends, but also then teachers and other friends. Somehow the video got shared and spread and talked about. It was something that was just viral at the time before you had the internet and could just forward it all. And this video really did change my life. If those reactions hadn't come out the way they were, I don't think I would have had the confidence to keep making content. But I share all this now because I'm nostalgic looking back at today, the loss of OJ, which everybody's crapping on OJ. I got to thank OJ, because without OJ, I don't know if I'd be here doing this right now. It is crazy to me that OJ and that chase, that Ford Bronco chase to be specific, really set the tone for what I'm doing with you all now. And I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to celebrate it, and I wanted to thank him, because it's a weird way to thank him, but I'm gonna, because without it, I don't know if it would have worked. So I shared this earlier. I want to share it again. It's on my Instagram. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you can read the full story and go follow. But without further ado, I present to you my first viral video ever.
This is Andrew Senor Sky 11, reporting live from the O.J. Simpson chase. I am being dangled by a helicopter with this trash and all this wind velocity blowing all over me. We're gonna try and get an interview with Mr. Simpson. Mr. Simpson! Can you hear us?
That bottle in my head.
Could you give us a quick interview? How about a quick thumbs up? He doesn't seem to hear us right now. We can try back later. This is Andrew Signor signing off. Oh my.
I thank OJ because without that moment, without that pop culture moment, without that Ford Bronco chase, I may not have had such a hit. There I was creating satire and the media's response to the OJ craze, which was crazy, guys. It was crazy. And this is in 1994, 94, 95. I remember it now as I think as this was, guys, you got to remember, this video for a long part of my life was a big deal for me. Like you're all laughing because it was funny. It was clever satire and I'm a kid and they're like, wow, it's good. And my buddies, Mac, everybody were helping me do this. Dinas Roman, my teacher, like there was a team of us, but you know, the performance worked. I was very proud of myself and seeing everybody react to this inspired me like nothing else. And this was huge everywhere. And I remember this day now that as I think about it, and OJ is triggered all these weird memories. And it's all just so crazy. The birth of Popcorn Planet is right here. Who would have thought? But I remember this day and my teacher, Dinas Roman, shout out. Oh my God, what an amazing patient and amazing teacher who inspired me and let us go and create. And Dinas was, got to figure out a green screen. We had this new technology at the time. Guys, we could do green screen, chroma key. We didn't have that access. We're a school and it's like, oh my God, we had this big old machine. You could even tell it's not very good, but whatever. For us, it was epic. So remember, we set up in one of the rooms next door. I was like, let's get the big industrial fan, put it on me. I put my hair down, throw trash at me. So my friends were throwing trash. That was like a velvet rope from down and we tied it up. So I'm pretending to hold it. We found this earpiece, an old headphone thing that didn't work. I had this jacket on. And I remember, like, I'm like, all right, flip it on. And I knew I'd done it. Like, I was like, I'm going to be really loud. So we got to talk over everything. And I just improv and I went and did it. And I remember my buddy, Mac, always makes the joke. He's like, wind velocity. Where did that come from? I don't know. It was just, I was a student of Weird Al, The Simpsons, Naked Gun. All this comedy was what I was just emulating. And I wanted to take a moment, start the show by literally without this video. I made some other videos and maybe I was trying to see if Mac would join me. It'd be fun to watch some. He had them all. I made a really good Mentos parody, but no matter, I did a really good parody ER with my cafeteria staff. I called it ARA, which ARA Mark is what it was, but all my lunch ladies, but shot to the ER intro. I became very good at like mimicking parody because that's what I loved on Weird Al, YouTube, Simpsons, etc. But this video specifically, I know it from my family and friends. Like this was the one I just was like, oh, that was a hit. The audience liked that one. And because of that, I took note and I was like, ooh, I like how that feels that I made everyone happy. I entertained them all. It was funny. I get why it was funny. All right, I got something. And I'm so grateful to my school at the time and my parents for helping push that school. It was a very academic school and I was the creative. I was not doing good in Spanish, paying that karma now as I marry a Puerto Rican amazing beauty. I still can't speak Spanish very well, but I was damn good at the creative classes and they knew it. And then thankfully my parents pushed and some teachers there had my back and I excelled in that video department like crazy because of this video, because of those reactions. And I just kept going. So it's a weird nostalgic day for me as I mourn the loss of OJ. I know everyone is saying burn in hell and all this stuff, but it's just weird to me because he really had this moment, the pop culture of it all, not him specifically, but this moment really did help define a huge part of me and fueled me to keep going and created where we are now. Like, this is the first Popcorn Planet video. So thank you to OJ in that regard. Yeah, it's wild to me. So I wanted to look back with you all. I wanted to share that. It was a funny time. I'm proud of it. I made a lot of stuff back then that I'm proud of, especially at that age. And to all the parents out there or kids, if you're onto something like this and you feel like it's working, take it, keep going. Don't give up. When you find that kind of reaction and it hits you, and it's going to fuel you and inspire you like this did. And honestly, I'm so glad it worked. You did that, Andy. Now, I know, but it still was that moment, creativity, the best movies, the best stuff. It still requires timing and a little bit of luck. All that stuff has to come together for it to work. And while I do accept, the creativity of it and the performance, thank you. Without that moment in pop culture, I might have just done something a little less funny that wouldn't have had the impact, that wouldn't have impacted me and the reactions as much to build me the confidence to know, oh, I'm on to something. I know how to do this. And because of that moment, I'm not just making it up. I thought about today, that moment was iconic for me. And I've moved on. I had a lot of other successful moments. I've been very lucky and grateful. But in going back, this was my first hit, without a doubt. My first hit, and it really affected me, and it was pop culture. And to know now, fast forward, how many years is that? My goodness, dating myself, almost 30 years. Almost 30 years I'm fast forwarding. Here we are, Popcorn Planet, reacting to the news just like I did. I just find it amazing because so many people, Andy's full of shit. Andy doesn't like what he's doing. I was born for this, baby. I was born for this, and I've been doing it since I was a kid. So suck it, haters. There's a reason I'm good at it, because I started in the beginning, and we're not going to stop. And Diddy, you're talking to a real pro. I've been on this for a long time. So we're on it. So thank you for everybody for being here and for supporting what I'm doing all these silly years later. We've had some serious times. We've had some funny times. We've had some crazy times, ups and downs to sure. But moments like this, I like to take a moment to talk about with you guys, because it is identifying iconic moments are key to remember and realize and live in and experience and share, and hopefully inspire you all that you can find someone like this and everything. And I was so grateful as a parent. Now I'm always looking for my children to find that thing they're good at. I've had so many people come to me, man, Andy, I wish I had known what I wanted like you did at that age. I'm very grateful that I was able to be good at something. This was pre-YouTube, guys. This was no TikTok or phones or anything. And I wonder how my life would have been if we would have had more competition, of course. But anyway, nostalgic look back day. And yes, I'm not lying when I say OJ absolutely impacted my life, in the strangest of ways. It's weird how all that works, but it does. Little moments like that can really affect you. And this silly little video we did as a green screen test in the studio. That's what we did it as a little green screen test to see, could we do it? This video became so popular. We ended up, I think they played it on multiple assemblies because it was such a hit. And then every year it would still get the laugh. Like even today, it's like one of those, this sums up the OJ chase. And it's just the world in general. And I've always had an eye on that and how the media overdoes it, over exaggerates. And I think because I've been watching and paying attention and satirizing and commenting for all these years, it has made me be pretty good at what I do. So I'm going to own it. Popcorn Planet since circa 1996, it says there. I think they updated it for the late. This was 94. Since 1994, we've been bringing you the pop culture news. I got to add this into my sizzle reel. I'm working on trying to create a new sizzle reel to show you guys as we get some new stuff shot. I got it all the way back, all the way back. So there you go. What do you guys think? We are no other YouTuber can compete with that. We are. I think that beats TMZ. So eat it, all you suckers. Yeah, I'm old. But I embrace it. I'm good. I embrace my grays. I'm not going to go get cheek implants. Oh my God, have you guys seen? Why did Ryan Gosling put those cheek implants? I don't get it. I had never noticed that. And my wife showed it to me and I can't unsee it now. Oh, he was so handsome. I mean, it still is, but it's so weird. Anyway, the cartridge was 1994. This would have been probably, I think this was 95. I think this was the replayed version in 96. Anyway, there it is. So thank you for everybody. There it is. Jennifer, talk it after the diss track. Hey, Jennifer, why don't you go somewhere else and instead of telling me how to do my show? How about that, Jennifer? If you want to disrespect me in the chat and tell me to hurry along, well, I'll tell you just to go now, because anybody who knows my show knows I don't like that. I do the show the way I want because I've earned that right, Jennifer. And if you're bored by my nostalgia look back, then go do something else. Okay? I don't really care what you think, Jennifer. I find your comment rude. I will not. People, chat, remind Jennifer, do I stop what I'm doing to tell one lone chat member to answer them? No, I will now take even longer to get there because of Jennifer. So anybody who was hoping I'd get to that diss track, go thank Jennifer because she just stalled y'all. Thanks, Jennifer. No, Jennifer, come on, shut up. I'm so sick of these trolls. You guys are so impatient and rude. My God, this is my show. This is my show, and I'm having a nostalgic moment with my audience, several of which are enjoying. Don't be rude. Just shut up or leave. My goodness. I mean, come on. I hope, Jennifer, can you at least acknowledge? Shut up. This isn't you. You may be annoyed, but I'll back off. But Jesus, it's so dumb. So dumb. Oh, my buddy Mac, I was hoping. Too bad. If you want to call from the road, you are welcome. I'd love to. You guys would enjoy hearing from Mac. He'd talk some serious shit. There's no one more honest in my life and longest. Mac is my longest friend, longest term friend. I'm trying to give him the and Raees. Is he in there, Raees? Oh, I didn't send it to him. Hold on. We have guests coming in to talk about this stuff. I'm trying to get the Zoom chat to them. Sorry. Bear with me. All this will get cut off. There it is. Okay. Okay, I've invited them. Mac was there. Actually, I don't know if he was there. Were you? I'm asking him. Were you there during the OJ shoot? Because I was just reliving it. I'm live right now. You're live, but it's messages live. Were you there? Either zoom in quick or at least give me like a background that you remember. I want to make sure I'm not giving shoutouts. But I remember we had the green screen. We were learning how to use the green screen. I'm like, let's get the fan. You were throwing was it you or Bob? Who was throwing the bottles at me? Was it Nate? I don't even remember. And yeah, I can't remember. And then if you have any memories of that, I want to make sure I give credit where it's due. Sorry, Mac, I don't know if he was there, if that was shot after. I think that might have been after, during our club period. Anyway, we will see. All right, we have some people. Anyway, thank you, Jennifer. I still love you. Geez, Jennifer. I'm going to do my thing. That's how the show works. I've earned it because I've been doing this since 1995, Jennifer. So suck it. Fun other story. PHTV, another fun high school, depressing but funny. My nickname in high school was Poopy Head. Why? Well, because all the jocks, everybody would call me fat. So I didn't like that. So what I did is I tried to own a sillier name. So I'd walk over and say, call me Poopy Head. And then they'd be like, Poopy Head. And I'd be like, and so I kind of Chris Farley-esque, I don't know, but it was a way for me to control the hate. So I ended up creating this nickname and became Poopy Head to the jocks and assholes of my school. And people just embraced it. I didn't do it because I wanted to per se, but it was better than being called fat ass or pig nor, all these other things that people were doing at the time. So that PHTV was that. So I sort of just owned it. It became a coined term. And it was more if you're going to make fun of me, I'm allowing you to say this one. And it was so stupid that it made them look dumb. So it's a good another lesson to teach kids. If you're having a problem, just own it. Come up with something silly, react to it. And then they're going to take that one instead of doing something else. And I was glad I was able to figure that out even as a kid and sort of compartmentalize it. But PHTV, that was what it was. Poopy Head TV. Because I was trying to, stop being, dude. I was a kid. I was always a little chubby, and I never really cared, but it bothered me. But I went to a summer camp, and I remember this was even younger. This would have been like, I don't know, 5th grade, 6th grade. And I went up in front of the whole summer camp, and I was not even that popular. And I sung Weird Al's Fat to Michael Jackson's Bad in front of the whole crowd. And I did it without irony. I did it because I love the song. But of course, the assholes in the crowd were like, who's fat? You are! Is what they ended up doing. And it was what it was. It was clearly a hit. But I learned early on, you got to sort of embrace that. Otherwise, they can be so cruel. Oh, Mac's here. All right, hold on. Mac's here. I got to hear. So anyway, sorry, Jennifer, it's your fault. Mac is on the, oh my God, Mac is here. Mac Morgan, my man. All right, hold on. Wait, real quick. While you're I know you're at your son's game or whatever. I don't want to say, Mac, I need the history lesson. As I said, I can't remember. Were you in the room?
I don't know if I was in the room when we shot that. I was in part 2, which you didn't post. At least you didn't send me the
Not as good. The sequel's never as good.
I don't want to. Yeah, but like Bob was holding me hostage, and
we
then
did a part 2 where I land, right? Because the first with that due to the success of part 1, it was like, oh, we got to do another one, but it wasn't very good. That one wasn't good.
No,
you don't remember if you were in the room during this?
I feel like I might have been, but I don't know. Like I remember more of what we did versus what the production process. The thing I remember the most was what was that omnibus?
Oh God,
I remember. I remember. I remember
that one. I don't know if I want to show.
Omnibus.
That one doesn't hold up as well as OJ. That was my serious attempt at a film, guys. I mean, I'm proud of that movie. Like it was impressive. Jeff and I did that we rented a bus, we wrote a script, we did a whole thing, but it's pretty cheesy. But yeah. While I have you, because I know I have limited time, and then you can say whatever you want, but with the OJ, like I'm looking back on the death of OJ today, and I'm like sitting here, I'm like, OJ did kind of change my life. This OJ skit was the one that I remember the most, the biggest reaction. Like, at least for me, and I'm curious if you did you feel it too, of like, oh, everyone's laughing, this one's funny. Like the OJ one to me was the one that transcended the rest of like teachers, students. People would come to me and be like, that OJ video, bum. Do you remember that too?
Well, I mean, I remember OJ being a big thing. Like I remember exactly where I was when the verdict got read. I'm sure most people do though. I remember Mentos being that was kind of like the one that really kicked it off. I don't know if anyone's seen Mentos, but
Mentos is another. I think those were the same year. It was a combo. I should show Mentos. Mentos and
that's
OJ was a combo. But yeah, so anyway, Max
I think that
here,
transcends.
The what?
No,
what were we gonna say?
I think it transcends because I mean a lot of it was inside baseball. You had to be in our high school, So like, but there's things like OJ and Mentos and stuff like that.
OJ and Mentos, exactly. We were taking bigger shots outside because it was easy to do jokes for our school. Exactly. We did a whole Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe joke. Right, was a lawyer that I would list out each year as the students would do terrible things. I'd be like, I'm the lawyer to call when you are caught having sex in the theater, and it was in jokes. Right, that's an easy way to win the crowd, and we did those. But when OJ was the first time I felt like we hit one out the park. Mentos too. Zima was pretty good. That what it is. But for me, and looking back, like I remember OJ as the biggest reaction beyond even just my friends. Like OJ tracked far and wide and would always get me. It gave me the confidence to know, oh yeah, you're onto something. Like these are funny. But speaking of all that, as someone who was watching me, how much of a pain in the ass was I? Say something good. Tell the audience.
You are. I mean, I assume you're still a pain in the ass because you probably have to be to some degree. But oh God, you were a pain in the ass.
I was a creative genius that I was just such a pain in the ass.
But I mean, listen, I don't think the Media Lab's probably been the same before or after.
Yeah, no, it was, but it was iconic. I left an imprint for sure.
No, sure.
What was any other memories to share as I look back, as people are losing interest in my nostalgia, and I don't care?
I don't know. There's a lot of memories. I mean, you can get. I mean, and then you can go into your post high school years. Us painting those ponies and taking a dump in the middle of the school and stuff like that. All kinds of nonsense.
I guess that was so.
I remember that one too.
Because Mac was the year below me. Everyone else in my grade, I don't really talk to. Mac's the one who's actually stayed in touch. Why did you stay in touch? Did you think I was going to be rich and famous? Did you just, I was a pain in the ass? What was it about me that made you stick around?
I don't know. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. I got to stick around, see what's doing, and I help you out along the way.
Like I got it, but be nice too. You sensed I was
you're
always
very
good at
creative.
making these
I always
videos.
tell you how creative you are. Stop it.
He doesn't like to give compliments, but yeah, I sense you've always been very inspiring and telling me that we did some pretty good work back then. And I think
we did some pretty good work. I'd be honest. I'd love to see more creative work, originals coming out of you now. I'd like to see what you can produce.
Yeah, it's true. You should. I'm sure that's what a friend does. He's right. I should. The problem is YouTube doesn't reward it. It's a big pain in the ass.
No,
the more work you edit on YouTube, they just tell you to go fuck yourself.
I mean, Andy's like the quintessential shit starter. So like doing this for him is very easy. Like I that's why I always want to see him do original stuff again. But I imagine this consumes a huge amount of your time. So
it does. That is absolutely true. It is. It's not. It seems it's easier than editing everything because that takes longer. But I can spit out more content. But it's taxing, 100%. But anyway, I love it. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for sticking around. I got your back always. No Mac is no joke. Let's get that notification thing done. Come on, they're all watching.
Okay. Yeah.
I love you. But anything else you want to say or put out there?
No. What do I want to say?
Like, why'd you make me call in? I hope to see you soon. I appreciate you. Give the family my best. Mac, everybody, thank you for calling in. Keep me honest. All right, talk soon, man.
Later. Peace.
All right, bye. There it is, my man. Look who's here. Beard Lawyer's here. He looks so serious. I don't think he can hear me. Oh my God, I'm terrified. He's gonna, I'm waiting for like a samurai sword to come out or something.
What's going on?
There he is. All right. You were looking so serious. I was like, oh no, he's waiting for you to pull out a sword or something to get me. Welcome to the show. Our own Beard Lawyer, Raees. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was doing a nostalgic look back. Did you get to see my video?
I did.
This was a monumental day. OJ kind of changed my life, and I was visiting back as we were waiting and reliving the amazing times. That was my old buddy. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. Jennifer will be really glad we're here. We're finally ready for the main topic, guys. Here we go. I'm gonna do this with Beard Lawyer here in full effect. We have two topics today. I'll follow my lead, my man. Here we go. Hold on. This is 2518. Give me a second, guys. Okay. 3, 2. Diddy Gate continues. I'm Andy Signor, and I'm here with Beard Lawyer Raees. How you doing, my man?
What's up?
I gotta turn that audio down. Hit the wrong buttons. Now everything's being hit. Anyway, we did it. We're here. We've been hanging out live. We've been talking about how O.J. Simpson changed my life. Go check out my Instagram if you missed the story or watch the full stream. But I want to get to the main topic because Jennifer's bored. I love when I'm on a stream and one user's like, I'm bored of this. Talk about something. It always makes me go slower. Yeah. And everyone's like, you're clickbaiting us. You're clickbaiting us. No, I'm going to get to it. In fact, I'm going to do a hold on. I'm hitting the button now. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. We are live, take 2 with Raees, my Beard Lawyer. We're here to talk about Diddy Gates. It's on again. We have some new updates regarding Diddy Gate. I want to go through some of the new filings. We have our Beard Lawyer here to talk. And I also want to talk about this topic. Everyone in the chat's been waiting for me to talk about it. Did Justin Bieber drop a diss track? Is he about to? You know what, Raees? I'm not going to keep bearing the lead. The answer is no. There he is. All you guys can leave now. He didn't. But what is this? There's a TikTok that's going viral. You ready for this? Now, I mean, I guess it's possible. I looked it up, and even Snopes says it's unproven. But I want you to hear this diss track, Raees. You tell me. You think this is real, or you think this is dumb AI, someone trying to clickbait us all? Here it is. Here's the alleged Justin Bieber Diddy diss track.
Lost myself at a Diddy party. Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Wasn't worth all the fortune and fame. All the girls never walked in the same. Signed a paper
whoever made that, bravo. It's clearly AI bullshit, guys. Come on.
Clearly. You know
I
what,
got
though?
myself a Ferrari. Come on. Who's buying this? This is so cheesy. It's funny.
Andy, they did a nice job. Whatever sample that they used to derive his voice, it's got the inflection, it's got the classic Bieber, voice breaks. Totally fake, but totally good job. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm not buying it. But a lot of people are. And so, yes, there's all this talk about Bieber's dropping a diss track. Look, I guess he could. I don't think it would be this obvious if he did. I think that'd be very weird for him to drop. It would be huge. But no, this is clearly an AI Bieber, and it's happening all over the place. And I'm curious, like, how legally can artists do anything about this? Like, can Bieber try to say, shut this down, as they're trying to justify this as a Bieber track?
Yeah, what's interesting is Justin Bieber is famous and popular enough that I think he would have a fair claim that, they're using my image and likeness and my voice, and it's an impersonation. It's also likely a derivative work. I didn't recognize the beat, if it's a novel beat or if it's actually derived from another Justin Bieber song. This might come as a surprise, but I don't listen to a lot of Justin Bieber. But I think that Justin could probably, enjoin people, if he wanted to prevent them from using his name and actually purporting it to be a real song. Now, if it was done as satire, I think he would have a much more difficult time getting it taken down. But welcome to the wild world of AI, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, one could say this is a clear. I mean, to me, this seems like a joke.
Yeah, I don't think ever that Justin Bieber will ever write a song about his personal experiences with P. Diddy, because he's probably jeopardizing a lot. I think he's too entangled with whatever went down historically to call attention to himself on this.
Or traumatized.
Or traumatized, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's weird. The last clip we had, and I don't want to keep picking on Bieber, actually. I know everyone likes to pick on Bieber. I got no problem with some of his new music is pop music. It is what it is.
He's a good singer. But I mean, say what you want to say about him. The guy can sing.
He works, good producers. Yeah, I mean, he can put together a good pop song. I can't knock the guy. And he was famous really young and taken advantage of really young. And so I do think, I have empathy for him, and I can sort of see it now, just like the struggle of him trying to find himself, religion, family, like things that he seems to try to want to mature himself and slow down and be a better person. I know he struggled with some health crisis and stuff. I don't have a hate for Bieber. I really don't. But I agree with you. I just don't see him ever coming forward. And even if he was doing something at that time with Diddy, to me, my aim would be at Diddy, not him. He's a kid. That's the problem. Like, he didn't really have a choice. And Diddy seemed to allow it. There's a clip we saw of him getting that Ferrari where Diddy's 48 hours with him. It's really creepy. We've played it where he's like, let's go get some girls with a 15-year-old kid. That's weird. Terrible. It's gross. And it's one of the main things that I think a lot of people have been jumping on to aim their furor at Diddy, and I think fairly. Do you agree?
100% fairly. Look, I think anytime adults are in awe of celebrities, right? And P. Diddy at the time that he's running around with Justin Bieber, we've seen the clips. You can't make it up. Imagine a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid seeing P. Diddy saying, hey, I'm going to take you under my wing and I'm going to make you a big superstar. What are you going to do? The real criticism is on Justin Bieber's parents, I think, or any minor child's parents, to just send your kids to, I don't know if you want to call this P. Diddy camp or what you want to call it, but like, what were their parents thinking? This guy's a total stranger. I don't know. Maybe they knew P. Diddy really, really well, or they thought they did, but it seems really strange to me.
So, I mean, yeah, my hatred isn't at Bieber. And to answer the question, I think this is fake. And I don't think Bieber, judging how Bieber is now, I think he's being way more careful. I don't see him doing any sort of diss tracks. However, Snopes doesn't say this is false. It's unproven. He Lost Myself at a Diddy Party is the track. It's been all over TikTok.
Which is hilarious, by the way.
And Lost Myself at a Diddy, didn't know how that's how it'd go. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. I mean, come on. He's not writing that ever in real life. Wasn't worth all the fortune and fame. Come on, this is ridiculous. Let myself as a Diddy. I mean, it should be our theme song here for Diddygate. But no, I don't believe this. There's no concrete evidence to substantiate the existence of the song. No confirmation from credible sources. They reached out to Bieber's management. No immediate reply. And so, yeah, they can't confirm or deny. But this track to me sure as hell seems like nonsense. And I'm going to hit the button. I'm hitting it. Debunked. There's no way that's a Bieber track, and I don't think he's gonna. So hate to break all your bubbles, but no, there's no diss track. Now, while I have you, quick for this main topic, I don't know if you got to see this. We can go through it a bit again, but I wanted to talk more about this declaration from Rodney Jones. We went over this yesterday in my video. The big takeaway I wanted to talk about today, and I can talk more broadly with you as well, but look, he makes this accusation that the record labels funded the trafficking and these, Diddy parties and stuff. How does one figure that out? Like this, we can go through this filing I want, but I wanted your legal, advice. When the feds do this and they're doing their stuff, could they find those additional people and serve them as well? You think is that going to be part of this process of Universal or Motown? People who are alleging in some of these suits that were at these parties, were with these ex-workers, were funding those ex-workers. What do you predict will happen regarding the music industry and the connections and ties to Diddy?
Well, remember, there's the civil case with Rodney Jones for all the listeners, right? The civil case, and then there's the investigation, which is likely to lead to some sort of prosecution by Homeland Security and the feds. The feds raided his home, right? As what you have on the screen explains. Has nothing to do with the civil case. They're two different buckets. So if we look at what the feds have, right? The feds have pretty much carte blanche access. What I anticipate is going to happen, Andy, is I think they're going to definitely exercise subpoena power based on whatever information they have in their custody now. Last time we talked about how long that might take, right? But who knows? I mean, they might go through these hard drives, tapes, whatever they have, computers, laptops. They have to access it. They have to dice the information, check for credibility, check for foundation of the evidence, and then they're going to start for sure shoveling through that. I think it's just a question of time, and I absolutely think that they're going to start speaking with other celebrities, other recording artists, other labels. Whoever's name pops up, they're absolutely going to interview them. 100% they will.
Did you get a chance to look through it, or do you want me to give you a quick recap of what this is? Do you know the latest? This was the follow-up complaint he did to basically say, look, I'm not full of crap, because a lot of people were saying that it was not filed correctly, and in it, as he makes it clear here, I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States proceeding to be true and correct. I understand that if I unintentionally lie, that I'd be subject to punishment. And in this, he details more, and the biggest revelation being this. I have hundreds of hours of audio and video recordings and photos of incidents that I detail in my first proposed second amended complaints. Now, I know you've been, catching up and up, but do you think this was wise of them to put out to sort of reaffirm and put more stable footing and like, no, I'm not just an ambulance chaser trying to get a quick cash grab? Do you think this sort of follow-up declaration, sworn statement is a smart move?
Well, it's not only a smart move, but I think it was their only move in light of the huge pushback. I mean, a few weeks ago, we saw Sean Coombs' lawyer light up Mr. Blackburn, right? Rodney Jones's lawyer, basically saying this guy's essentially calling him a scam artist, not using those words, basically saying you file these big public lawsuits to get a quick settlement, but there's no substance, right? So this is your only move, because as civil litigation happens, you file a complaint, you don't start seeing evidence typically until discovery, unless there's hearings and motions being filed like this one, where you have an affidavit or a declaration by the plaintiff, which is considered valuable evidence, right? It's the same as testifying in court when you fill out a declaration like this and file it. So it is worth something, for sure.
Yeah, as we went through it today, and I could go through some of this more, I want to catch up with you guys, but this to me was pretty, I think, important because, yeah, as you said, right, it's like they were starting to seem a little bit uncredible. And I think this helped a lot. I mean, this threat here of the hundreds of hours of video and audio, I mean, that's a pretty scary threat if you're Diddy, right? If you're Diddy's attorney at that point, you must be asking your client, like, is this true? What do they have, right? Are those
Right.
conversations you think that are currently being had in order for them to sort of prep this?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're saying to prep the second proposed
For
amended
Diddy's
complaint?
response of like, I am only can imagine he's still talking to lawyers right now preemptively, right? Even before there are charges, I would think there's lawyers in his camp that he's having conversations with to sort of know what do I do if this or this happens, right? Do you think that's something that's happening?
100%. I mean, look, if P. Diddy is smart, okay, he's going to tell his lawyer where the skeletons are buried. He's going to say, this is what I did. This is what happened. Because in order to mount a defense, particularly in civil court, your lawyer just needs to know the facts, right? I mean, particularly in a high profile case like this, you can't defend against unknowns. And so your client has to be candid with you that, look, there's this and this of me on video doing XYZ with ABC person. So 100% they've been preparing. And you know, we saw very early, right, P. Diddy pacing when news broke some weeks ago about this federal raid. Well, he's doing the same thing in his lawyer's office. We just don't see it on tape, right? There's pacing. When somebody says in an affidavit like this, that I have hundreds of hours of audio and video recordings, and you file that in court under the penalty of perjury, okay? You better have that. And
Right.
Remember, lawyers draft these things. I mean, we rely on our clients, right, Andy? Like the client's telling him, I have this. Now, again, I don't know Blackburn as in terms of skill set, but before I file that in court under the penalty of perjury for my client, I want to make damn sure that the video and audio exists, right? So it's a damning piece of evidence. This affidavit is a damning piece of evidence without a question.
So Diddy's sweating. Without a doubt, Diddy's sweating, in your opinion.
I 100% he's sweating. And his lawyer's going to play cool cucumber because that's what defense lawyers do. They're going to say, we're not worried about this at all. Nobody's going to come out in the public ether and say, we're concerned and we need to settle. Right? Nobody's going to come out and say that at all.
No, but so again, you think we have what, months? How long do you think this ultimately takes?
Civil
before
case,
we
criminal
decide?
case.
I mean, some of these don't ever come. It's crazy. I'm doing a lot of research with Michael Jackson. We're working on a series. I've alluded to it, but I'm going in deep to really go against everything against Michael Jackson. And you know, there's two big moments that Michael faced. The one in 93 with Jordan Chandler, and then later in 2005. Don't quote me on the dates yet, but it's interesting is that first one against the Chandler family. They did a civil case first. And it was really weird that like it changed since after that. I don't know if have you followed the Jackson case at all?
I have a little bit. Yep.
But what's crazy, and guys, trust, I have a lot coming to educate you on. We're working on it. But what was so crazy about in that first case is why did he settle? Because they basically let the civil case go before the criminal case. And, you know, from everything I'm gathering, that's just like not how it works. You don't want to give away your whole case for a civil, and then suddenly your enemy, your other side, knows everything that they can do to fight in a criminal case. It's not supposed to work that way. And since then, it's sort of changed. But that's ultimately why he settled. But anyway, what's fascinating is once he did settle, the family could have continued with the feds and actually proceeded in a criminal case, but they didn't, which is very telling. They just dipped. They took the money, they dipped. They didn't want to help other kids. It's very weird. They didn't do a criminal case in that first example. It wasn't until 2005. I bring that up because, yeah, it took almost 10 years before, after the first raids on Michael Jackson's homes, which they did, guys, finally came forward with another person who lost at the end of the day. But that took forever. So is there a version of this where you think that could still happen, that maybe there are some feds that are out to get him and they're looking for shit and then he just doesn't have it? Because you'd think Diddy would have known when the Cassie stuff dropped.
Well,
burn it all. You know, like at some point, is there, like, how dumb is he to not have done that?
Well, let's answer that question like this. P. Diddy has had a deep history with this stuff. 1991 is the first assault allegation, right? He's got a rap sheet. No, pun intended. He's got a rap sheet. And so when we look at it from that perspective, it doesn't sound like he ever learned his lesson. And it doesn't, we're not talking about, like, we, the public, tend to look at this like, oh shit, there's skeletons in the closets, bury them and never make that mistake again. Burn it, like you said, burn it. But and clearly the feds have seized what we think probably has evidentiary value, which means the guy didn't stop doing whatever he's accused of doing. He's got this stuff on tape, since this lawsuit broke. And again, I strongly discourage people from believing what they just hear on social media, but there have been interviews with people who have partied at P. Diddy's house, right? It's been TikToks and Instagrams and YouTubes.
Yeah.
And
famous people. Yeah.
Famous people, and even some everyday people who get invited to these swanky parties. And people are saying some crazy, crazy things. So that's why I really feel like we're just scratching the surface. I mean, I was listening to somebody talk about these igloos that P. Diddy had outside of his house, where one was orgies and sex, and the other igloo was everything you could possibly get high on, right? Did he record those things? Are there cameras? Is that documented somewhere? Was he blackmailing people with that? It seems like he hasn't learned his lesson. He never did.
Yeah, valid. I mean, he's got an ego on him, right? It does seem
huge
like
ego. He's a narcissist. Yeah.
If he's recording everything, he probably is keeping everything for that sake of, why would you record if you're not keeping the evidence, right? Keeping the receipts. So it does feel like whether he moves them or puts them in another safe house or hard drives or whatever, it seems it would be there. What's wild to me is the fact that, if it's all on tape, I mean, it's a lot to go through. So that could be another problem. Even if they suddenly, all right, we have tons of hours of footage, they're allowed to just then download all that footage of him in his home and start sifting through that. And are there potentially teams right now that are literally watching out minutes by minutes and minutes of Diddy's home activities?
100%. They're combing. I mean, this is a team. You saw how many people were there just for the seizure, right? You don't put 30 federal agents on a seizure across the coast, right? On both coasts, I should say. And then put 5 people in a room reviewing it. There's got to be 24 people with very, very specific, narrow objectives. Watch this 20 times, take screenshots, take notes. I want names, I want dates. They're hunting for people 100%. And what's crazy about this is the public doesn't get to know the substance of those federal investigations because there's not a criminal action filed yet. So it's not public. So it is by virtue of not having a criminal investigation. It's not public yet. We don't know what they found. We don't know what they're digging through. But as a lawyer, I can tell you that prosecutors are not going to bring charges unless they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the things they think he did. Nobody wants to lose that case, particularly this high profile of a case, right? So they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's for sure.
So it blows my mind to think like, there's literally people right now just watching Diddy's stuff. Why would he have filmed it all? It's so stupid. But again, it goes back to the ego, the too big to fail, these feds want to go get this evidence because he might be that stupid.
Yeah, I'll say this. You know a little bit about what I do, being an internet lawyer and dealing with celebrities of the internet and all this stuff, and even private people. People are freaks, man. Okay. I mean, part of this is you get to see the underbelly of who we are as people. Now, P. Diddy is something exceptional. He's narcissistic. He's abused his power and the fact that he had his label and he had, we've seen the promises he's made of getting, Grammys and other awards and accolades and record deals in exchange for God knows what. My point is, average Joes, average Joes do a lot of crazy stuff, record it and save it. Okay. Illegal or not. What do you think his Rolodex of stuff looks like? You know what I mean?
Imagine.
So I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised. Right. And when when you are living the high life, the Sean Diddy Coombs high life, you do think you're untouchable. You do. You don't think it's going to ever come crashing down, and you don't think that anyone's ever going to be able to touch and stop you. And again, he got away with it for years. He got away with it. I mean,
it wasn't even the freaky stuff like what you're saying, because there's the parties, right? There's the accusations, there's drugs, but he's been involved, alleged in murders, right?
That's
so
right.
It goes beyond even just the freaky, like he likes to party in ways that, you know, only the rich elite really do. There's several deaths. I mean, someone even just brought in Aaliyah again. There's that. I mean, again, I'm not alleging or saying anything, but Tupac for sure. We had a whole video we were preparing just about that. The Tupac one, Biggie's. There are several. The shootout, the club that he took, that he had Shine take the rap for, it's allegedly. All of that also can be connected to this. So with that, this raid that they did, whether it's the freaky shit that's illegal, whether it's substances they find that are illegal, whether it's wads of cash, they're like, where'd this come from? Whether it's some sort of evidence towards these crimes, illegal acts, murders, all of it's up for fair game, I imagine. Or do you think there was a more centralized thing that the feds, the Homeland, was looking for to nail them on? What's the most effective thing you think they're going to go after?
I think bringing a human trafficking charge, here's the top three, right? If you're asking me, weapons trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking. Those are the top three. We know he had a cache of weapons. We can presume, and I think it's now confirmed that there were drugs, whether it's for his own consumption or, you know, party stash.
Drug mules, yeah.
Yeah. And now this idea that he was peddling people for sexual favors, and it is on tape, allegedly, right? Rodney Jones's affidavit. So those are the three. I think the weapons charge is probably the easiest one. That's probably the easiest one.
Right. They talk about this safe, I guess this hidden closet in the room that he and his chief advisor were allowed in there that had stacks of cash, weapons, substances. It's crazy as we go through this. Like, he drops video, or I guess stills of video of allegedly the record executive sitting here in the studio with the blocked out sex workers. I can't imagine if I'm one of those executives that I'm excited right now. If you're like thinking about, wait, holy crap, who was that person in the party? I mean, obviously this is just images of people sitting around on a couch. Doesn't mean they're all sex workers or doing illegal activities, but I mean, this is clearly a move by this lawyer and by Rodney Jones to make people sweat. No?
It has the 100% the effect of making people sweat, because one of the strategies used by plaintiffs' lawyers all the time when you want to get an early settlement is make them sweat. At the same time, if I am Sean Coombs's lawyer, I'm thinking, look, this can easily just be a recording party. Yeah, there might be drugs there. Yeah, there might be prostitutes there. You didn't have anything to do with that, did you? Right? Prove it. Let me see you Zelling, Cash App, or whatever. And let me see this woman's name on an escort list. And even if she was an escort, was she there as an escort? Was she there as somebody that somebody knew? Like, this is why
can you pay a woman to just show up and hang out with you? I mean, that's not illegal. It's the act, right?
Correct. And most of the time, you know, when you're trying to prosecute prostitution or escorts, somebody gets caught in the exchange. Because you're exactly right. It is not illegal to just be standing around and saying, well, I was an escort or a prostitute yesterday, but I'm sitting here today, and you can't prove that I did anything yesterday, or you can't prove anything I'm about to do something today, right? You've got a photograph of women in a room.
Well, but the reason I'm asking more specific, because a young man, whatever these women are, there's alleged that they were on payroll. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is, could they still be on payroll just to be attractive girls hanging around the studio? I mean, that's not illegal, right?
It's not illegal. It's not illegal to have an attractive woman on payroll. And it sounds funny. I'm hearing the words coming out of my mouth. But
the life of Diddy, not ours. I don't know about you. I assume not yours either. Definitely not mine. But yeah, you can have an attractive. If you're Diddy, you can pay for some attractive people to be around for parties. That doesn't mean it's activity that's illegal.
Correct. Now, What Rodney Jones is saying is very different. Rodney Jones is saying that I have receipts of people getting caught, like doing this stuff, right? And look at what you highlighted on your screen right there on the bottom. Mr. Coombs bragged about having fun and not getting caught. So his whole thing is like, look, I am bringing receipts. Some of these receipts are going to require discovery, Judge, right? There's enough here to allow me to take discovery. Don't dismiss my complaint. Let me stay here. I'm going to bring a much more, and like I said, there were quite a few facts outlined in the initial complaint, but Rodney Jones's plea to the court is, Your Honor, by definition, he was trying to hide it. So I don't have something I can tell you right now other than what he's alleged in his declaration, and allow me to do discovery and allow me to prove it. And again, that's how civil cases go. You don't come out with the evidence, right? It's not like, this is what's interesting to me. Criminal case, you have typically something close to a smoking gun. You've got fingerprints, you've got a gun, you've got a bullet that was fired from a gun, you've got a dead body, right? Right? Civil cases don't run that way. You make allegations based on a good faith investigation, and it comes out in discovery. Either you were right or wrong, but it's obviously shouldn't be premised on a lie, and lawyers get in trouble for that. You have to investigate the facts. And looking at this, looking at the affidavit, 19 pages, any lawyer looking at this is saying, something's here. Something's here that deserves to be investigated.
Why do you think he didn't settle this one? He settled with Cassie literally the next day. Which,
well,
I think we've talked about it with you here. Like, that clearly implies something's bad. But in this instance, he's let it go this far, all this bad stuff.
I think because in Cassie's case, and we're speculating a little bit because settlements are confidential. I think in Cassie's case, there was a lead-in. There were emails, conversations, a pre-litigation demand that says, this is how much we want, and we're not backing down without a fight. And they didn't think she was going to sue. She sued, and immediately they're like, let's talk, but it has to be confidential, right? There was a lead-in. I don't get the impression that there was a lead-in with Rodney Jones.
I mean, they keep claiming that he's just settlement lawyer trying to do it. I find it hard to believe they would. I mean, there was rumors like, we're going to come out with shit about your kid next. Like, there was stuff he was teasing. You would think that they would just go be like, take the money and shut up. At this point, now the feds, everything going off against him, I'm just curious. Maybe they're asking for too much money. At a certain point, if you're Diddy and this much heat's on you, don't you almost, if you're going to settle one, don't you just settle them both to not have this all be out there and make this even worse for your brand? Because whatever he would have taken, I would imagine this is doing even worse, leaving this Rodney Jones allegations out there in the ether while we wait. It's giving channels like me more stuff to talk about where he could have just paid it off and not have it be there.
So the problem is, imagine for a second, you are P. Diddy's lawyer. Okay. What are the optics on that? Hey, this last suit was filed and you settled it immediately. How bad is this one? And should we have the talk? And P. Diddy's telling you, nah, man, F that. I'm going to fight this. I didn't do anything illegal. And there's too much pressure. Nobody's going to talk. I know my guys, da, 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 da. So a dance happens. I don't know. I think the lawyer is also probably concerned equally and has advised his client, like, the longer that this doesn't get resolved, the more public outrage there's going to be, and the less likely you're going to be successful in the future. I don't know if someone's tracking P. Diddy's popularity right now in terms of, sales of projects that he's involved in, but everybody is being corralled, right? People are talking about J-Lo again. People are talking about DJ Khaled's involvement with P. Diddy. People are talking about everything. So the ripple effects are, like, to your point, the ripple effects are there. I mean, it's definitely happening. So I'm sure his lawyer has told him, look, dude, I have to tell you pros and cons, and you make the call. The longer this is out there, the worse it looks.
Well, it's weird to me because, yeah, you're right. You don't want to have that optics of I just settled, but he did settle, and he settled with Cassie so fast that it's like, okay, he doesn't believe this one. This one's bullshit. That guy's lying. And it's like, all right, great, fight it, Diddy. But then I'm like, but wait, what about the Cassie one? Because if that one's true, that's enough for me to be like, damn, dude, I don't care if Rodney's real or not. Like, that's the problem. When you settle one and not the other, to me, he's guilty on both. It's just guilt by association in a way. Like, it's hard to not take that as shit. Cassie had some damn shit on him. He did not want that out there. Little Rod, F it, we'll let that slide. But it's just weird. I mean, would you, if you're Diddy's lawyer, I'm going to hear it. Raees is now Diddy's lawyer, and you just settle with Cassie, and now you know this is, and you're given the warning, all this shit's going to drop. All these accusations, celebrity stuff. We got audio. Your son's next. What are you advising your client in that situation?
If the receipts are there and my client comes to me and says, I own it, I messed up, this exists, okay? You are settling that case. No question. There's no question. You are settling that case, because how can you mount a defense with a straight face? It's going to come out. People are going to get deposed. The transcripts will be attached to motions. Nothing. It doesn't. In other words, from the day that lawsuit is filed, it doesn't get better for you. It only gets worse. And I've been in those circumstances. And the client sits across the table from me in my office and says, you know, if they're being honest, this happened. This is what I did or didn't do. And my advice to them is, we need to resolve this now. And it becomes a damage control and a PR control thing. There are those lawyers or clients rather, who say, look, I did some things, but I don't want to be taken advantage of. And I think a cash payment or whatever their demands are just make me look worse than I think I'm being portrayed as. And some of this is true, but they don't want to settle.
Yeah, interesting comment coming from Miss Kim. Good to see you, Miss Kim. Could it be that Rodney doesn't want to settle? Maybe he's looking to out Diddy and the industry with the discovery. Yeah, it's very possible. They've been painting him as settlement lawyer and all this shit, but maybe there is a version of this where he never did let Diddy have an offer that he would have actually accepted. Or maybe he saw Cassie get it so quick that he thought, you know what? Let's run with this a little longer. The theory, though, is also that the feds didn't approach Rodney yet, which, again, doesn't help his cred. But at the same time, we don't really know who the feds are talking to. They're not going to give us a list of who they're talking to, I imagine. I guess, what do you think? Based on what you're following so far, do you think this is a stubbornness on Diddy's part of not settling it? Diddy's saying, F it, I didn't do this one. I don't want to let this one go. Or do you think there's a little Rod part of it where he's like, no, we're not settling. We're taking this all the way?
You know, it's hard to say. I think there is a chance that Rodney Jones did not make a settlement demand, a pre-litigation settlement demand. You remember, I said Cassie's case settled so quickly because I think there was a buildup. It wasn't pop, oh my God, this lawsuit came out of nowhere. It was, this is going to happen. Threats were made. There was a pre-litigation demand. Lawsuit
for a
filed,
large amount of money,
call,
allegedly, yeah.
Right? So I don't think this case had that lead in. I don't think Rodney Jones was in a chat with P. Diddy like, yo, I'm going to take you to court. This is what I want. I don't think his lawyer wrote him a demand letter saying, this is what I want from you, and we can avoid the hassle of litigation. It doesn't seem to me that that's what happened here at all. So I think they're building up case value here. I think that's what's happening. That's not to say that P. Diddy's lawyer hasn't already made an offer. Maybe he said, I'll pay you $500,000 because it's a cost of defense. We're going to spend more than $500,000 in the next 6 months on this litigation. Take $500,000. Your lawyer's doing this on contingency. He's going to take 33%. Okay, so you get a nice payday. You know, take $150,000 in cash, $200,000 in cash, whatever. But we're not going to be privy to those settlement offers. So we're speculating, right? We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's where we're left because he didn't settle, because this happened. That's all we got left is us being able to do this. That's part of the weird choice that he didn't, but it's a good thought of maybe they would have, because Cassie did. It seems like this lawyer has settled before. It's hard to not think that they would have accepted some sort of payment. It seems like that's what they were in for. That's what you're fighting for in a civil case, is money. If you get a good offer, it seems like you would take it. But no, you're right, Miss Kim and others. There could be a version of this where he's just out there to try to get the truth, and they really are fighting it. Based on the first couple settlements, I mean the complaints, it didn't really feel that way. It felt like a PR play, but that could also be part of it. It still does.
Look, it still feels like a PR play. I don't know how many of your viewers, or if you did, read the 32-page motion to dismiss that P. Diddy's lawyers filed. I thumbed through it briefly, but they're making the technical arguments, because you don't really argue facts this early. You argue technical things like lack of jurisdiction. You're going to argue this corporate, because remember, Rodney Jones is suing corporate defendants too, right? He's not just suing P. Diddy individually. He's suing other defendants. He's suing Chalice Record Studios, Love Records, Motown Records, Universal Music Group, Coombs Global Enterprises, right? So they may be taking
Jane Doe's one through. He's left open slots for Jane Doe's and other corporations. Yeah,
correct. And he's actually sued and he's served, and there's a defense being mounted by these corporate clients. And if you read the motion to dismiss that was filed, you're going to see that there are technical defense arguments being made, that they're arguing the law, right? They're saying the RICO argument against its defendants, XYZ, they don't make sense. It's not going to work. The liability against these corporate defendants, well, they shouldn't be liable for anything because they didn't pay for anything, right? They are not the bad actor. So those arguments are being made, and arguably it's smart to do that because it lowers the pool of money to go after. Does that make sense? It's narrowing down the scope of who's involved in this and who might have to pay. And so that is a smart defense tactic. It probably says, he's probably told P. Diddy, look, don't talk about settlement at all until we carve out and get these other defendants dismissed, because it's going to lower the case value. And then you can throw him some peanuts if you want. Of course, in the meantime, he's getting hammered in the public's eye, right? I mean, look at this affidavit. He swears he's got video and audio.
Yeah, no, this one, we read this yesterday. It's damning, and we went through the details. But that's why while you were here, I just thought get some additional legal things. I mean, he's got receipts of him going to St. Martin, to the island for where the yacht was. He was there during the alleged encounter that his son did against that stewardess. His chief of staff, Christina, instructing the staff to retrieve drugs so he can have them, spiking them. I mean, serious stuff in here. He planned to leverage his relationship with Bishop TD to impact the public image of his pending lawsuit with Cassie. Like, just a lot of big evil stuff. A shooting that happened on his watch that he says he has witnesses from. Crowd gathered afterwards when Mr. Combs and Justin exited the bathroom of this guy G, who got shot, lying in the restroom bleeding. And it says, I have several writers, camp attendees who are willing to provide the court with sworn statements corroborating what I witnessed and experienced. I mean, that's why this one yesterday, as this came in, it was hard to not take this way more seriously, because he's swearing under perjury that he's got these things. And if he doesn't, he's in deep shit, no?
Yeah, 100%. Let me say this, just so we can understand the procedural posture of where this case is. So the reason we're seeing this is because the defense filed this motion to dismiss that I was just talking about, right? They're saying all of these things fail. P. Diddy's lawyer comes back and says, we've got a lot more to say. There's no point in dismissing this case. We need to get through discovery, Judge. And by the way, the judge denied, just 2 days ago, April 9th, the judge denied the defense's motion to dismiss. And I can't gauge if it's the right ruling or not, but I will tell you this early, judges don't grant motions to dismiss on facts, period, because that's not what motions to dismiss are. They're looking at the technical aspects of the case, like jurisdiction, or whether there's even a claim that was alleged correctly, right? So the judge says, no, I'm going to let them file a second amended complaint. So there is going to be a second amended complaint. And so these...
No, I think that was this. He already did two. I think he accepted it, and now we're waiting for Diddy's response.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
You know better if you look at the system. From what I was told,
you're
John,
right. You're right. He filed a
second amendment, which they're like, dude, too many. What is this nonsense? Judge said, nope, it's accepted. Move on. And now I guess we have a little bit of time until Diddy files their response. No?
Correct. So technically, just to be clear, that second amended complaint's not considered part of the record until the judge says it's part of the record. So he attached it saying, this is what we're going to file, Your Honor. Let us file it. Now that the judge has denied the motion to dismiss, that second amended complaint will become part of the official record. But no, I mean, the most interesting aspect of this case is going to be the discovery. Who gets deposed? Maybe J-Lo gets deposed. Maybe Justin Bieber gets deposed.
I mean, I imagine they all will. So that's an interesting one. What's the reality of them trying to get Justin Bieber? Like, I always think of like the Johnny Depp trial, and they had trouble getting Elon Musk and others, but that was a civil case with Homeland Security now on it. Like, I imagine Jay-Z, Bieber, they're all up for potential interviews and stuff. No?
Well, hard to say, because, you know, the question is going to be, what relevant evidence does Justin Bieber have to the claims at issue? Like, can he make an allegation more likely to be true or more likely to be false? If so, his testimony is relevant. Okay. But if he's just there to talk about P. Diddy generally, they may not get carte blanche access to just depose whoever they want to. Does that make sense?
Got it.
And I'm sure all of these people that we're talking about, they're going to have lawyers and they're going to object, and they're not going to allow, you know, a fishing expedition into a bunch of irrelevant stuff.
Now, he also did repost this victory video of him in it. He's like running from the cops and stuff. Is this sort of a reaction to Homeland Security? You think this is a good play that he's sort of putting this cocky stuff out there? This
is the most foolish thing. This goes to show you his narcissism. If I was P. Diddy's lawyer, I would be hiding under a rock right now. I'd be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Stay out of social media. Like, don't post whatever the hell is victory, you know, dodging the LAPD helicopters or whatever. It's a bad
He's
look.
A bad boy for life. Come on.
He's a bad boy for life. That's true. I mean, you know, it's just, but look, we're dealing with P. Diddy, and he's boisterous. And so his lawyer can't stop him. You probably said, don't do it. And P. Diddy said, no, I want to look like I'm on the right side of this. I didn't do anything wrong.
So I'm running from the police. Because that always looks innocent.
Oh, yeah, running from the police. Yeah. I know, this is hilarious.
It's just so bizarre. It's like he's posting these shots, right? Him fighting back from the police, but then he's also doing this distraction where he's like putting his adorable kid. Like, I hate that this shouldn't be here right now. Baby love. Like, he's done it a couple times where it's like, I mean, this is just, I think this is awful. Like, well, I'm all for the kids. I don't want the kids to be involved, but you're putting them in there as distractions to humanize yourself, to be like, oh, look, he's a dad. He shouldn't go to prison. I mean, this is clearly on purpose, right?
Well, I agree with that statement. I think this is 100% to humanize P. Diddy, remove him from the boogeyman picture and say, look, I'm a dad or a granddad, and I have this amazing home life. This is who I am. Look, literally pictures of her, you know, in the running in the flowers, right? Like, hard to think of human trafficking and weapons charges when you see this kind of stuff. So perhaps a smart play. Look, we saw this in the Depp v. Heard trial too, right? We saw this stuff.
Yeah, right. Amber Heard got a whole baby.
100%. We saw post-complaint, way pre-trial, years before trial, statements in the media, Amber Heard's interviews, her TikToks, her Instagrams. We saw all this stuff. And I don't know in hindsight if it was the smartest play. I think it worked against her at trial.
She literally, I try to block it all because it was a chunk of my life, but she literally got a baby, like right at the time. And then it was like, I'm a new mom, like right before it all started. It was psychotic. And it was just hard to not see, like, you bought that baby from her and allegedly had it with Elon Musk. Yeah. Which, by the way, did you know this? We're working on another video. I'll tease it. Did you know that Diddy paid $10 million to Elon Musk to help him buy Twitter? Did you know this one?
I did not know that, actually. That's salacious.
Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button, everybody. But yeah, the connections are wild.
Yeah. Yeah. It's look, I think this is going to be the 2024 celebrity case of the year for sure. Who knows what'll happen tomorrow? Who's going to get sued? But without a question, P. Diddy has his tentacles in so many different things. He's surrounded by so many celebrities. Just the J-Lo slipping the gun allegation alone, right? Yeah. It just opens so much. And you have the civil lawsuit and you have a parallel criminal investigation, not yet a criminal case. That's going to make for a scary 2024 for P. Diddy. Oh, 50 Cent. 50's been all over this.
Now, is there a version of this where, you know, I guess, can the trolling go too far legally? Like, for example, we did a video this morning. If you guys didn't make it, we can look at this again. But he posted this video of the Diddy list. He's going down. He's calling out all the people. Drake, Oprah. He's listing J-Lo, A-Rod. And it's this video. But this has been going around viral. We debunked it earlier. This is not a list of people he's trying to get to, you know, dig dirt on or whatever. This was him announcing his birthday list like 2 or 3 years ago. But of course, people are repurposing it like this. But when 50 Cent puts this shit out there and constantly hammers and hammers, I'm enjoying it. I'm not going to lie. But is there a version of it where could that eventually be harassment or defamation? Or is it just if he's vague enough and joking and keeps laughing at it all, it's parody and criticism and he's totally safe?
It's the latter. It's the latter. P. Diddy is, for all intents and purposes, a public figure. Sex trafficking, weapons, sex assault, music industry extortion is a public concern. It's a huge issue to talk about. To get at this point for P. Diddy to have a legitimate defamation case, I'm not saying it's not possible, but certainly he's not going to be able to sue 50 Cent over stuff like this. Yeah, everybody's going to do this. 50's been on it, though. He's clearly got some beef with P. Diddy. He's been nonstop since day one. And he's gone on podcasts basically saying, I told you so. I told you so. Yeah.
I think that was the latest. Yeah, that was the last one where he did that list this morning. But yeah, he's not stopping. He's not going silent. The Diddy versus 50 is intense. Where was the one? Is it still there? My God, I don't even know if I can play it. Can I?
Are you on his reels or are you on his post? I think it was a reel.
This is the one. A trigger warning. But have you seen this one?
I haven't seen this one.
You stupid ass nigga! I told you. You stupid ass nigga! I told you.
Hold on, I can't get it to.
Puffy, you stupid ass nigga! I told you stop fucking with R. Kelly. I said, grab them in the pussy. Don't kidnap the pussy. They raided your shit, I see. I got a courtesy call when they raided my house. You really fucked up, my nigga. Can I get a copy of the Meek Mill sex tape? Please, nigga. Puffy.
Wow.
Oh, my God. We're going
just
to
to
hell
show you
for
how
that
bad
one.
AI is getting. Like,
Yeah.
damn. That's trolling.
Holy cow. I needed that laugh. That was good. Unbelievable.
There it is. My goodness. Can I get a copy of the Meek Mill? Jeez. He went there. Anyway, obviously this is fake. That's not really President Trump doing that message, but pretty funny. And sad and depressing. I told you to grab him, not kidnap it. Jesus. Whoo! But anyway, yeah, 50 doesn't. He'll go there.
50's. He's nuts. He's a wild man. But
yeah, I guess
you
I
know
saw
what,
this
though?
one. Where he told "shut the f up" to Jason Derulo. Diddy's innocent until proven guilty, which is true.
That's true. That is 100%
50 Cent
true.
said, "Shut the f up. Let me find out you on one of them tapes, boy."
Hey, it's Jason Derulo is 100% accurate in his statement. He is innocent until proven guilty. Can't really debate that. It's still funny.
Summer, I've never seen this level of jealousy. 50, like I don't see it that way. I think he's just I think he enjoys being a troll, and he's making a documentary. He clearly wants to become the commentator on this whole issue. So when his G Unit film drops, people know, oh, I got to see 50's thing on it. So this is all marketing and PR for him to keep going. But yeah, he's not letting off the gas.
100% not. 100%. It's kind of funny.
Oh, I'm enjoying it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm afraid to play the audio.
Does Jay-Z put out an official statement on this?
No. You want to actually the funniest one was this one. Since we're going through, just because we're shooting the shit. If anybody has a comment or question, or you want to support the stream, send it on over. Now's the time. Help us pivot our conversation as we hang for a bit more. But where's the Andrew Schultz one? Have you seen this one? Holy shit, this was funny. Is it not there anymore? He might have pulled it. The Andrew Schultz clip is unbelievably funny. Oh, it's gone. Oh, wait. No. Oh, it's not there. Oh, well, sorry. I thought it was going to be there and I just missed it, but maybe it's on his Twitter. I'll check one time. Yeah, it's not. Andrew Schultz did a whole on breakdown. Oh, here it is.
Media trying to smear this great of the media trying to smear this great city. They're saying you're a bunch of fucking criminals, drug addicts, and pedophiles. That is not the whole city. That is a very small, specific section of the city. It's called Diddy's house. That is, listen. Is Diddy going to jail? What's the over-under? Someone asked Shohei Ohtani. I know he got the...
Oh my God.
Japanese love gambling, bro. Or I believe they call it driving. But whatever, man. Listen, this is the only reason I think he might be guilty. Every celebrity in LA has had their home robbed except Diddy. And I thought about it, it's like, bro, robbing Diddy is terrifying, because what if he's there? You break down the door, he's butt naked on the couch. Meek Mill sitting on his lap, just...
Oh my God.
Just petting him like a Maltese cat. Just Meek Mill crying. Oh no, wait a minute. I thought you was finished. He's like, can't stop, won't stop.
Oh my God.
You try to run out. You run out, the door is locked. You turn around, all of a sudden you hear, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. I can't be stopped now. It's your asshole tonight.
Damn.
Andrew's a talented
Vinny
comedian.
said, you said I chose violence. He chose violence. That's Andrew Schultz, everybody, if you want a comedian like that. But that, man, they're not that. Gotta give him props. It's funny.
It's hilarious.
Whoo, there it is. But yeah, 50 Cent doesn't hold back, and it's weird. Diddy keeps doing all these like wild like bike rides and stuff that feel a little forced, feel a little fake. If I'm being honest, it feels like all big press to try to, hey, I'm normal. PR experts have been calling it like, oh, this is his distraction to sort of just try to take the you know, the pressure off. Like, oh, see, people still want. What do you think is that? You think that's a good move as a lawyer when you got a client? Or you just tell him stay inside, don't be seen? Or do you think it's good advice to have him out there flashing peace sign, being with people, acting like it's business as normal? Is that good, or does that only add more pressure and stress to be like, he's hiding something? He's hiding something. What would you typically advise in a situation like that?
I think, especially if the client's a P. Diddy-esque person, like that level, I think business as usual, but remember that people can smell fake content, like content that's designed to manipulate them into thinking something that's not reality, right? I think people have gotten good on social media figuring that out. So, I mean, look, if he's got a business to run, he's going to meet people in public or private. And so business as usual, because, you know, going back to my comment earlier, like, yeah, don't post that video of him running from the cops. It's a little weird. It's actually ironic. The kid picture, how many other kid pictures does he have, by the way? Did he just start posting this after he got nailed?
No, he had some before. There's one. Another one.
Now, how old is that? Is that pre-complaint or post-complaint?
21 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, when
right.
was Cassie?
Oh,
Oh,
Cassie was
DJ Khaled,
December.
who they accused had male workers in the bedroom with him.
Yeah.
That would make sense since DJ Khaled is very notorious for not going down on ladies. Apparently now they're alleging he goes the other way. So this was 23 weeks ago.
Okay. I mean, so he's not doing anything unusual for P. Diddy, I suppose.
I thought it was his grandkid. That's his new. It was a new baby. Okay,
That is his baby.
yeah. Love Dada. Baby Love.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, now I've gone deep, but yeah, he's been at least. It's not like he just started posting the kid, to be fair. But yeah, these were the two he did since then. Since the raids. This was the first post raid. But I mean, yeah, it's clearly a distraction. This was the first clear, like, let me repost me running from the cops and I won't be silenced. The whole love. Look, to me, when I see the whole, he was trying to call himself Brother Love and all this, to me, that screams, brand adjustment, because I know some shit's coming. Like, oh shit, I got to start trying to, let's all just be love. And he's just trying to make amends, which he may want to do, right? He may regret shit he's done, but he doesn't understand the accountability part. But the whole like Brother Love, Call Me Love, the Love album, it all just feels like rehabilitation to try to like soften things before the shit hit the fan is what it feels like to me. That's just my take on it all. And now as it's all going, it just looks even creepier to me. Just like, ugh, Brother Love, what the fuck? It's just not looking good in hindsight. But he's had a lot of names over the years, but he's supposedly now known as Love. But he had to have known this was coming. And the reality is, if he would have known that, especially if he was guilty. So I don't know, man. The interest in the story is massive, but we're still waiting for actual insight to come in. So we're left with a lot of the speculation and commentaries because we don't know yet. We're in a waiting pattern, and it could be a while. As we just deduced, there's literally someone in an office right now who's watching Diddy walking down a hallway in his kitchen, in his office. All this stuff is now, if it was recorded, is being checked by Homeland Security and being noted, and someone's going through and collecting it. And with that amount of stuff, if it's really hours and hundreds of hours, it's going to take some time to organize. So we probably will have a little bit of time before we get there. But do you expect them to make any other moves or even big arrests to maybe show the seriousness of this? Or do you think it's smart? I mean, it seems like you don't want to wait too long, right? You want to do something. Is there anything they can do aside from even just charging Diddy, but going after somebody else? Do you expect anything like that maybe could happen?
That what, arrests will start? Will
yeah,
start
like maybe they go after his drug mule guy or they pull somebody else. Do you think do they start trying to close the walls around him before they go straight for him, you think? Are there any versions like that at play?
It could be the case that somebody close to P. Diddy pops off first, right? It could be the case that say, look, we've like they arrested his who was that guy? The former Syracuse basketball player. Who did they arrest? Didn't they just arrest the guy who was supplying the guns? People in the comments are probably commenting.
Oh, yeah, Brandon Paul, the drug mule guy, the kid.
The drug mule guy, right? So yeah, for sure. They're going to start popping people off who are low-hanging fruit, getting their testimony. Because look, prosecutorial strategy, right? Think big picture. You want to take down the big dog. You're not going to go after the big dog first. You're going to build the case against the big dog. Imagine that guy's testimony. Imagine what he knows about moving illegal weapons and weapons trafficking charges. If they can get him to testify against P. Diddy and goes into like a witness protection program.
Yep.
I mean, prosecutors are salivating at the mouth if they can get that. Think about that.
But I guess that's is there a benefit to getting someone like him? That's what I was trying to say. Sorry if I didn't say it clear enough. Is there a benefit to try to get one of those guys on the rec? Clearly, we don't know what he's saying, but clearly publicly, like, we've secured somebody, he's in custody, to make Diddy more nervous. Is it better to go after Diddy first, or to try to get one of those people locked in before you've even got those charges at Diddy? Because I imagine if you do that, maybe Diddy messes up more. You gather more, right? Who's talking? You pit them against each other. There's a lot of plays there. Or do you think they go for the charge first against Diddy?
No, they're gonna build a war chest. They're gonna build their weaponry before they go after P. Diddy. So this guy might get prosecuted first for sure. And look, they may not have to prosecute him to get what they want. They might take a deal. Say, hey,
Right.
take a plea. This is what we got. We got the weapons. We know how much was moved. You're looking at a mandatory minimum of 20 plus years. You think this guy's gonna risk getting prosecuted, or you think he's gonna rat on Diddy?
Rat on Diddy.
Oh yeah, well, of course.
Right.
And
when push comes to shove, a lot of these people are going to rat on Diddy.
That's the prosecutorial strategy. And that's why I said it might be until next year before any criminal actions filed against P. Diddy. We don't know. The civil case is already on its way, but the criminal case we have yet to see.
So could those, I guess, yeah, like the Jackson case, the civil cases could move forward before we actually even have a criminal case against all this.
We could have look.
That's tough to do, right? You don't want to have the civil case before the criminal. You don't want to put all your eggs out and all your defense, right, before you're actually fighting for your life in prison.
Well, I'll tell you something. If the criminal case goes forward and the civil case is still happening, the evidence presented in the criminal case that may be difficult to get in the civil case would be critical to the civil case. And that's a good, again, because evidence is going to be used differently because of the burden, the significant burden in criminal beyond a reasonable doubt versus preponderance to prove the civil claims, right? So yeah, it's terrible if the criminal case starts moving faster than the civil case as far as P. Diddy's side is concerned.
I see a lot of people saying, who is this bearded lawyer? Well, it's Beard Lawyer. You can go get him on Instagram, on YouTube, beard.lawyer on YouTube. You got Beard Lawyer on Insta. You can follow him and learn more. And yes, he's my lawyer. We are in the midst of a legal tussle, I will call it.
Yeah, a fun one.
It's in the works. We're figuring it out. But that's not much else I can say. Hopefully it's sorted out. We will get there, but appreciative of. And yeah, he's over on social media crushing it with some takes and does a lot of stuff, internet law. And if you're an internet person or anybody needs some lawyering, you hit up RM Warner Law and hit up Raees and see if he's able to help, or just follow him and get some cool analysis over there on Instagram. I'm putting in the chat if you want to give him a follow. But that's who he is for folks. I have it on screen there, but if you were curious. Yeah, well, fascinating. I mean, what else? Any other things to add or say regarding this case? I have one other story I can go to, but just in general, anything else you wanted to add?
Well, it's kind of timely, but O.J. Simpson, right? I mean, think of O.J. O.J.'s situation was the inverse, where he got off on the criminal, right? He got, and then he was ordered to pay, what was it, $33.5 million in restitution in damages for the wrongful death lawsuit because he lost the civil case.
But yes, a lot.
Yeah, and so
balloon to 114 million with interest.
Yeah, and so the original order I remember was $33.5 million.
And now reports are coming in now. He still owed them $100 million now after death.
Wow. So he paid 14 million or so, apparently. Yeah, see, 33 million was a civil verdict in, I think it was 1997. So within 2 years of his acquittal, there was a civil judgment for.
Well, that's with these civil cases, just because you get the ruling doesn't mean you get the money.
100%. People forget that. People forget that all the time. You got to collect. And granted, OJ is a good guy to collect against because, he's got assets. He had multiple houses. I don't know what his NFL retirement looked like, but, collecting $100 million, unless you're suing Amazon is, or an insurance company for that matter, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, what is your as you look back? We all this time, and now OJ's lost. Did you think he did it?
if the glove fits,
The glove kind of fit.
What's that?
The glove did kind of fit. That glove, we were just making a whole thing about it earlier. Like, he does such a performance putting on that glove, and it's blood trunk. It's got the thing underneath. Like, it was pretty brilliant on OJ's team and the way OJ did it. Because I agree, that glove thing was so dumb they even asked him to put it on. But when that glove didn't fit on snugly, it was dead right at that point. Doesn't mean he didn't do it, but from the sake of the jury and the evidence, that clearly was the point. It was interesting. He had such a tough time putting it on. He puts it all on. I noticed when we rewatched, when he takes it off. Like,
I know.
If that glove was hard to put on, truly, it would have been hard to take off too. I can tell you, as a guy with big hands and gloves, like, it wouldn't just slide off. You'd still have to like pull it over your fingers. But he literally is like, boop, at the end. It's clearly performative. So, but what did you think of it all? Do you think a lot of people are not feeling they got justice? Did you follow that case? Did you have any thoughts?
I followed that case. I was a pretty young chap, but I remember Judge Ito and the testimony. Let me tell you something. He 100% did it. Okay, he did it. The now that I'm a lawyer and I'm looking back and I almost want to go watch the trial transcript, the trial video and read the transcripts. They had some evidentiary issues because, again, it's beyond a reasonable doubt, right? Can you create doubt in the minds of a jury to come to a unanimous decision that you killed this woman? Okay. And what's interesting about this is, I think today he would have been fried. If this trial happened today, I think a jury would have found him guilty. I think he would have been toast. I think juries have gotten smarter, if I can say that. But, you know, I also, your listeners are either going to love me for this or hate me for this, but there's some credible evidence that some people helped him hide evidence that helped him get off without getting charged or without getting, hit and losing his criminal trial. Kim Kardashian's dad, like, people ask, well, he wasn't trial counsel. I mean, he sat at the bench, right? But people don't understand. And this is a whole episode on its own we should do maybe someday. But Kim Kardashian's dad came out of retirement to sit on the bench. Why? He didn't take any evidence. He didn't do any cross examinations, direct evidence or a direct exam. Why was he there?
He was friends with him, right?
They're friends. And what people say, and I shouldn't just say people say, I mean, there's photographs of this, is that he helped get rid of evidence before it could be taken and considered. Like, he helped get rid of whatever he had in his, I don't remember what it was. I'm just blanking on it, but you know, there's pictures of him walking out of his house with duffel bags. And
he also came forward and did interviews later. I remember he was more, spoke more than you typically do about your clients. He didn't not seem to have a lot of, he had some remorse, it seems, if I'm remembering it correctly. But you know, what's weird about the case too, I don't know if you looked at it, because it's fascinating there's a theory out there that it was his son, OJ's son did it, and OJ covered it up. OJ had some, I guess, a son who had some issues, like autism, whatever, and had some rage issues. And there was a theory that he had a crush or did something or showed up and he went loose, unleashed, and then called OJ. OJ freaked out. OJ showed up to sort of clean up and get his son out and cleared. And then, you know, took the fall in a way. But if you guys look into it, it's an interesting theory. It still, to me, makes OJ guilty by, you know, association, but that's the only one I've ever seen. I'm like, well, okay, interesting. But yeah, there's no other version that he's not involved. I don't know how the hell else would it have gone down? It is wild that happened.
I think, and by the way, here's what else is cool. Now, when trials end, jurors talk about the case. And there are jurors that say 90% of the jury thought that he did it, but they thought that somebody else should take the fall, or we had one little doubt on some fact, and we're instructed, as they should be, that they need to find beyond a reasonable doubt. That means if there's any articulable fact that you think could get him off, you cannot find a guilty verdict. And that's enough for people to create doubt and say, oh, well, yeah, I don't know about that glove, or his alibi works, or whatever, right? I mean, yeah, it's just an interesting case. I don't know how we got here, but I was making an analogy.
He died today, where everyone's talking about it. And it was a case that, my God, talk about a case. Like, it, even all these years later, it's still a fascinating case. One of the most craziest, exciting celebrity cases, I think, of all time.
100%.
It was nuts. I was a young kid. I wasn't really following the trial like I would now, but I mean, I was following enough to know how fucking nuts it was. And yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the other thing was there was so much racial tension going on because of the LA riots, because
100%.
of Mark Furman, that there was definitely easy to put in doubt. I mean, that we were watching a clip and one of the jurors, one of the black men, left with like the fist to OJ, like, I got you. Like, clearly there was a lot of like, enough is enough, screw the LA police. OJ didn't do it, but he did. He did. But there was a lot of sort of racial, like, enough already, give this guy a break type of feeling that I think he got lucky on. And when you go back, Cochran was so damn good.
Yeah.
He was so damn good at what he was doing and creating those catchphrases and things that he was doing to create that doubt. Hard to dispute at the end of the day, but the civil trial definitely, which is harder to prove, right? How does that happen? Criminal trial, easy, right? I guess no, the civil's easier to prove. It's 51%, right?
Civil's easier. It's 51%. It's more likely than not. Criminal is criminal is beyond a reasonable doubt. One fact that creates doubt is enough to get somebody acquitted in a criminal case. And now that you see this, right? So people looking back, think about what prosecutors are thinking about as to the P. Diddy case. Like, somebody just saying, I have hours and hours of video of what? Right? Like, receipts of what? Let's see it. Let's analyze it before we can bring a charge. We're not going to allow a jury to acquit this guy. We're going to, Cato.
He follows me. I'm like, shit, I got to hit up Cato. But he put out a statement. I was just, here, in case you were curious, here's Cato.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Cato was there. Cato was the neighbor, and Cato, and later has admitted he does think OJ did it. But here's what's Cato's response today.
I've been asked to comment on the death of O.J. Simpson. Foremost, I'd like to express my condolences to the children, to Sydney and to Justin, to Jason and Arnell. They lost their father, and that is never easy. I wish to express my love and compassion to the Goldmans, to Fred and to Kim. I hope you find closure. And finally, to the family of the beautiful Nicole Brown Simpson. May we always cherish her memories. Nicole was a beacon of light that burned bright. May we never forget her.
So, nice statement coming in and clearly leaning towards the victims, not OJ at all. Really no fond memory of OJ from Cato. Yeah. But my gosh, Cato became a superstar in that trial.
Superstar, man. Superstar.
It was wild, like the crazy neighbor, surfer, LA actor guy, and was able to ride that part of the trial as becoming like a reality star for decades.
Yeah.
His stock's probably fallen a bit nowadays. I haven't seen him, and people probably still don't exactly remember, but enough will that he can ride that forever. But yeah, you remember Cato, right?
Oh, for
wild,
sure.
Huh?
Key witness, absolutely. Oh my God, super.
Because he was there as it was happening, right? He heard the noises.
Yeah, he had firsthand evidence, and testified well. I mean, he was so credible, as far as I remember. I haven't seen this in a long time, but people loved this guy. He was like this just, he had his accent, and he's the surfer dude, and Southern Cal tan, and the blonde hair, and it's like, he was a charmer for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like he was just stuck, like trying to be honest, like it really did. He put up in the house. He clearly was friends, whatever, but knew something was off. It was a genuine good witness trying to figure things out. Yeah, there were so many characters throughout that trial, but Cato was the star. But yeah, and also, of course, you can't have OJ trending without Norm Macdonald, who's trending. Which is just what a hero. Norm, it's so wild. And I go back to that period. It was a while ago, but I'm dating myself. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of like OJ hate. Like it wasn't like today. Like today,
No.
OJ, you're right. It would have not only would have been skewered there, but internet, everybody would have like had the evidence. Everyone would have made it clear as day.
Yeah.
He would have had his supporters, OJ, of course, but Norm Macdonald was one of the only ones that was so viciously unafraid to call it what it was. Well, and then we played it earlier, but his clip when OJ won, murder is now legal in the state of California. It was just, the reality of it. Yeah, what a crazy time it was to look back on all that. The end of an era for sure to see OJ Simpson no longer. Do you think there will ever be definitive proof, or do you think this will now forever now with in his death just be one of those, well, he was innocent, but we think he is? Do you think we'll ever get more closure than this?
I think similar to Michael Jackson, I think people will have stories to tell now that he's gone.
I think so too.
Yeah.
People who may have been afraid or worried, they may come forward. But the problem with Michael Jackson is that they're liars. And then stay tuned. If you don't believe me or you want to learn yourself as I prepare this. But man, those two guys suck. Yeah. But yeah, it's always frustrating when someone comes after death to claim damages. It's like, come on, do it when they can defend themselves. That's crazy. But yeah, I don't doubt someone will probably come out of the woodwork to see it. And Cato at least offering his condolences, which is nice to see. But yeah, big day, crazy day, a lot of memories going back. And yeah, connections to Diddy too. As if this trial goes, it will be another big level trial like that. So we'll see. But yeah, we were watching again. I forgot, like Judge Ito took the jurors to the house. They did like a house tour with the jurors. Like, I remember how big of a deal that was. Like, because they were all sequestered, right?
Right.
Back in that day. So for like a long period of time, those jurors were stuck together doing it. And then they went on a field trip to the house. And if you watch the People versus OJ, it's crazy. Johnny Cochran put all these like smart art pieces all over the home and took OJ's pictures down before that tour, just to show you how fucking ridiculous the whole thing was in its first place, to make it look more, intelligent. And I think he put some white people on the, I forget, but the People versus OJ is a really good rundown of things. But yeah, wow, what the craziness of it all. Yeah. I don't know. Do you think we'll have one that big again? That's the biggest, right?
It's one of the biggest because it was a murder trial of somebody who was a famed NFL player, right? Among an actor. But I think we've already had some pretty crazy cases. Amber Heard, Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
The most watched civil lawsuit ever, period. We've seen, which eclipsed OJ in numbers, thanks to social media. But now P. Diddy, and this civil case is not going away. The civil case is not going away. The criminal case is not going away. It's super early. The judge is going to set this case for a telephonic conference where they have a scheduling order. We talked about that last time. There's going to be a roadmap to the case. It might take 2 years or more to get done, but it's moving forward. It's in Southern District of New York. Super smart judges, and we're watching eagerly for what comes out on the criminal side.
Well, there you go. I think we hit a lot. Thank you for the time. Good to hang out with us. I'm glad we got 2 lives. I'm also just exhausted because I did 2.5 hours earlier. Now
I'm losing my voice, but I didn't want to miss this live up.
You're a gentleman and a scholar. Guys, let's plug them properly. In fact, let me do my outro as we get going. Here we go. Our Diddygate coverage continued. We had Beard Lawyer here, Raees. Thank you so much for being here. You can follow him over on Instagram, YouTube, Beard Lawyer, beard.lawyer, I think on YouTube, right? Go follow him there. Give him a follow. Interesting insight. We talked a lot more. Also recollected some stuff about the OJ case. Fascinating full stream. If you missed it, become a member on our Patreon. You'll be able to see it, the logo at the end or down in the description of my link tree. Join, follow him, follow here. Thank you all for watching. We got so much more coming. We have a live over on Popcorn Palace tomorrow. with Samantha Markle and her lawyer. They're still going after Meghan. They are filing appeal. We're going to have them live in studio tomorrow on Popcorn Palace. Join us there. So much more coming. Raees, thank you for being here. Please come back. Any final thoughts or words from you?
Just stay tuned. There's a lot more to come out of this.
Well said. Thank you all for watching, everybody. You guys all rock. We'll be back soon. Enjoy your night, and thanks for watching here on Popcorn Planet.
Thank you.